Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Hermitcraft. It is your friendly, spooky neighborhood pumpkin man here, just drifting through the sky. And over there in the distance, emerging from the beyond, is the Statue of Herman Ii. And when we first built this, I never really got to talk about how I came up with this whole thing. Obviously, it's based on a villager, but to get the right scale, what I decided to do was to take each pixel of a villager skin and then make it into a 2x2 grid of blocks, and that kind of gave it the right blockiness and the right scale as well. And you see over here at the torch as well, it's all just made out of these little 2x2 grids. We've got the embers down here and then the flames coming off, and there are some lamps to illuminate it at night, which by the way looks really cool. And I just love how this project turned out. It is so good. But as I've been drawn over to this area, I've noticed that there is something that's popped up on the island over here. This was made by Ijevin, and it sounds like a way to get our hands on some diamonds. And I've actually been running short on diamonds lately. I've kind of spent most of mine. So over here are the instructions, and it says for 1 diamond you can harvest up to 6 pumpkins. Randomly placed in the patch, there are 9 diamond blocks. Now at this point, I got to admit it, I got very, very excited, and I thought, hang on a second, I could probably buy out the entire place. But then, if I had continued reading, if you harvest a pumpkin, please replant it in the same spot. If you do find diamonds, please mark it down in this log on the next page. So these are the blocks that Jevin and Wells found 8 blocks. Oh, does that mean it's empty? I think it's empty right now. So I've messaged Jevin, and hopefully he's going to restock the game and we'll be able to play it later on, because it looks like it's going to be a fair bit of fun. And over here you'll notice like a little pathway has been put through going down to where we're going to have our Hermit Rail Network terminal. There's going to be one right here in the heart of the shopping district. And I've come over here and collected my profits. This shop is now starting to pay off. There is quite a few empty chests here because I've been collecting the diamonds from them. This is ridiculous. We have made almost 2 stacks from this shop alone. My friends, this is where the money is this season. I need to restock this shop up now. Here's something else we need to restock. We are down to 1 more sale of bone blocks, and I've got plenty of those lying around. That brings us up to over 2 stacks. We've also made a diamond block over here, whereas 1 shell was 4 diamonds, so I think someone there has left us a tip, which was very generous of them. We got no profits in here, but I'm restocking the conduit shop, and I'm raising the price to 20 diamonds simply because I've grown tired of exploring for Hearts of the Sea. So I put in my last 2 conduits here and a couple of conduit kits, and those still cost the same. And I've also been informed that we got some profits in our mailbox. It'll be lit up, of course. There I am. There might be some other things in here as well. 3 SS item order with ore galore. Cool, I'll hold on to that. And there are profits. 7 more diamonds. That is fantastic. And that brings our total diamonds up to 529 for the season so far. What a crazy amount of diamonds. Straight away, we're going to take some of those diamonds and put them into the bounty. So as I said, as time passes, the chest will fill up with goodies. Every episode that I make during October, I'm going to put something in here of value. It won't always be as good as this, but it will always be something. A whole stack of those diamonds are going to the winner. And at the moment, Mumbo is in the lead. He has 5 kills, and I have 2 myself, although I'm not really going to participate. I'm just going to orchestrate this and get a prize for the hermit that wins. Perhaps one of those things could be some dried kelp blocks, or maybe it'd be better to, at the end of the month, fill up all the empty space in the chest with this stuff, because I've got plenty to go around. We are going to have no problems stocking up our shop, that is for sure. I've also made a little bit of a modification up the top here. I've added in 2 chests, so when all of the smelting finishes down below and the system isn't doing anything anymore, it means that these right here haven't run out of kelp, so I don't have to try and fill up all the hoppers and stuff hidden away with this. So I've kept it well and truly stocked up, and it certainly gets through the stuff as well, but of course it produces a ton. And one of the other things that I've been finding really helpful with this whole system is using it for repairs. So for example, right now my elytra is pretty knackered, so as long as I'm not holding anything else that has mending on, although I could probably repair my axe at the same time. Let's give that a try. So we've got the elytra, we've got the axe, and then I can either rapidly shift click this, or I can put a redstone block there and take it out guaranteed. But I must be holding the axe. There we go. And it didn't quite repair the axe all the way, but it certainly did the elytra. And with that one, the axe is repaired all the way as well. Fantastic. It's like a tool repairing station over here. I have also got something else very cool to show you over here. Unfortunately, the water system that we have doesn't push all the kelp into one particular spot, which would make what I'm about to show you even better. But I've made a very rough kind of macro clicker thing that can do all of the crafting for me, and I want to show you that in action. So when I activate it, it crafts the stuff super fast for me. That is amazing. And then eventually it's going to run out. Now, what I have to do now is spam the button to stop it. That time it was pretty quick, and it kind of leaves me locked in crouch mode. So it's got some flaws that I need to fix when I code it again. I mean, I say coding, it's very basic stuff, but that is unbelievably helpful. And of course, my inventory is full of kelp blocks already. And now the kelp farm shop is fully stocked up. A couple of trips back and forth, flying around with my rockets, carrying all the kelp in the elytra. Takes a little bit of time, but it is all done now. Every chest filled to the brim, and we're going to keep the price the same. 2 stacks for a diamond seems to be doing really well for us at the moment, so no need to change that, of course. And I want to jump into the statistics to give you an update. I clicked on the wrong button. That's not very clever. So where do we want to go? Items times crafted, I think, is the one we're after. 181,000 now. That's crazy. It's also reminded me that I need to stock up the bones block shop, bone mill shop, whatever you want to call it. I'll get that done now. And this season has been the season of AFK farming. I need to do another AFK session for all of this stuff. I think next time I might actually lower the price a little bit because it's quite costly to get all of this stuff farmed for everyone. And as you can see, I've eaten into my own supply a little bit there, but now there is some for sale. With our business in the shopping area concluded, we are free to head back over to this place. And no, we're not going to be messing around with the kelp again. In fact, the kelp farm itself is finished. Just below me you will see prismarine blocks, and those have replaced the leaf blocks that were on this part of the kelp farm. That means that it's finished. What we are here to do today is build a skyscraper over in that location right there. And yes, I said skyscraper, not skyscraper. That's because we're taking inspiration from last season of Hermitcraft, where Goodtimeswithscar was building these amazing skyscrapers. Now, I'm going to call this episode Skyscraper, I know that, and for the thumbnail at the moment, I'm thinking what I'll do is take a picture of what I draw inspiration from, which is Scar's build last season. So please don't go crazy at me with the comments about how the thumbnail is slightly different to what's in the video. Like, I don't want to spoil what's in the video by showing you the finished product, right? And at the same time, I used to just show you whatever I did in the last episode. So what did we do last time? Built the phantom. So if the thumbnail for this video was a phantom, I would get loads of comments saying your thumbnails make most sense. That's how I used to do Hermitcraft. So trying to strike a balance, let's say that. Anyway, I've been working on farms recently, right? One of those was to get wool, the other one was to get ice, and you're about to find out why we needed those things. Well, I say why, it's obviously the build palette, right? And I just needed to go and gather all of those things. So I've been gathering lots of gravel and sand. With that and some grey dye, we can make a grey concrete. That is going to be the most excessive part of this build that we are doing here. Along with it, we're also going to use ice, so that explains the ice farm, right? We're going to need to make some carpets to put on top of things to stop stuff spawning, so that's why we made the wool farm and the ice farm before starting this project. So on top of our grey concrete, we will line it with this stuff to stop things from spawning, as we're not going to put torches in our building because it's going to be made out of ice. The other material is this stuff as well, terracotta. I went and harvested a whole bunch of it, and there are 3 different colours that we need. And that means that this right here is essentially our build palette. It's like a 2-tone thing, right? We've got 2 greys, 2 greens, and then the windows are going to be blue, made out of ice. And here is the first section of this building. I have done 2 of the sides that are actually identical. and we're going to walk around here and talk about it a little bit. I want to point out though that this is taking huge amounts of inspiration from Scar again. What I did is I went into his Season 5 base, and I just checked out the builds that he had made and tried to pick apart some of the principles he had put together and then redesign things myself with those things in mind. And this is what I've come up with on the side here. This is the base level, and then what we're going to build next above will repeat going way up into the sky. That's when we introduce the ice and the windows. And so over here we've got some leaves to give it a kind of kept garden look. And it's indented, so there's a bit of depth in the wall, and you can see this lighter colour here pops out at the front like a beam going across. It's looking okay, but as we build up more of it, it will make more and more sense. So I think the next thing we're going to do is the front area, which is of course the entrance, because this is where the path comes over. So here is the entrance, and I've just had a chuckle to myself as I've built it, backed away, and realised that the path is off. It's not centered, and I had to think about it. I did this during a live stream, I believe, so I probably wasn't paying too much attention and didn't realize that this is, of course, the center. It's centered around the post right there. And yes, our cactus farm is off to 1 block, but that shouldn't be a problem at all. And there it is, the entrance, you know, going with our two-tone thing. We've got the lime terracotta pushed out a little bit at the top, but here we've got these thicker walls on the side. They're too wide, and at the top as well, and it looks really neat and clean. But because I didn't want to copy that going around the sides so it looked more interesting, the side's going to break it up and go in a different direction, but it'll get pulled back together when we start to work on the section above. Now the back of the building, I don't really have a design together yet, so we'll build a little something that's passable and then we can start going upwards. And that has been taken care of. As you can see, we've got this bulky blob of a build sticking out. I've tried to mimic what we did at the front a little bit with the too wide clay. Hi. And then on the sides I've added whatever you want to call this. So pretty straightforward, that works. The next thing we've got to do is make our windows out of ice. And we have a little bit of a problem because there are torches all over this cactus farm, and that is simply to stop. Did you see it? Just up here, can we see it like this? Yeah, look, there's a cactus missing. How did that happen? But anyway, on top of the wood, mobs can spawn if we were to remove these torches, and we need to remove them because they're going to melt the ice. So I figured, let's just use more carpets. I'm going to go grab some green or maybe yellow and plaster that on top of these, and then we can start to build the windows up. And this, my friends, is the moment where we get to see where all of this is going. Let's jump off the edge, let's change the camera angle, and you can sort of see our first section. That is going to be repeated until it covers all of the cactus going upwards. So we have 4 windows, the amount of ice is 5 blocks tall, and of course it is the same on both sides. And then when we get to the top here, there's this ridge that just comes out, and that's one of the things I observed in Scar's buildings, that even when he repeated, he made it so that there was like a ledge or something different every so often. So that will get repeated probably another 3 times on top of itself. And now we are building the section that appears on the other side, and this is a really nice part of building this, where all you got to do is move everything up by 2 blocks like I'm doing right now. So you can kind of see the cross section of this. What I decided to do on this side was to have much more depth, and so these windows get pushed further back. But the thing is, I've actually finished building it up on the other side, so let's head over there and take a look. Well, this seems like a good vantage point. What we got going on with this design is essentially these columns right here, and behind them there are green blocks. That's the bit in the middle, and that goes around in like a giant square with a line through the middle, and then another line there that exposes them. And our windows is the same as the other side, they're just a little bit deeper back. Now I know what you want to see, some flybys. Oh, there we go, finally we're up in the air. Jeez, the server seemed to take a moment there. And that's it. Now all we've got to do is keep repeating this design going upwards. And that is something that we will do, or better yet, have done, because I have been building over there, but behind me you can see that we are back at what is known as the Diamond Diggers place. And Jevin has updated the rules for this game, but I'm a little bit surprised. The difference is now that you're allowed to do 3 pumpkins per diamonds that you put into the chest over here. So what we saw last time is that Wells had come in and basically cleared the house and gone for everything and got all of the diamond blocks. and that's because you could do 6 each time. So rather than there being a limit to what you could do, you could still come in here and clean the house, I think, but it's probably not as profitable. There are also lots of little hermit heads all over the place. I'm probably in here somewhere, but I'm not going to get distracted by that. We're going to head all the way to the very back. There I am. And we're going to do these 3 first of all. So for 1 diamond, nothing. And then these 2, probably nothing as well, knowing my luck. Okay, that has just a head under it. I assume we leave the head there. And then this one has a chest. Oh, wow. Okay. And all of that is now mine. So I've made my diamond back. And I've got myself some gems and emeralds. Rotted flesh. Not too keen on that. And gunpowder. Alright, we're going to do 6 this time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And I got nothing. Now let's do these 3. Right, well, I could even see that one. Jeez, right as I hit it, I realised, nope. Because I could see the block below it. That was ridiculous. So we're up to 4 diamonds. I'm going to do these 2 because that's all of them in this area. And we've got another chest here. And, well, I could take the bones. I'm not really interested in this. Even if that does have some reasonable enchantments on. Nope. I believe I have found a way to cheat. If we go look at the farmland where there are these pumpkin stems, it shows you what blocks are next to or underneath. If we look here, there is one right there. So this is how we're going to play now. We're going to go around and look for the ones that definitely have a gap underneath. See, there's another one over here. And it's only got a head underneath. And that's it in terms of ones that we can actually see what's underneath. So there's this little one here tucked away. And there's nothing under there. Well, do you know what? The jack-o'-lanterns might be slightly different. None of them might have anything underneath. It might just be the regular pumpkins. And I think someone might have cleared out some of the loot from the chest that we found that had the bones in it. But yes, that's a total of 6 diamonds spent over here. And I don't think it was worth it, but I did have some fun. So while we're in the area, I thought I would show you how things are progressing. There are new shops popping up. We have Ore Galore, and behind it, a shulker box project that False is working on. And in the next episode, I plan on opening a new shop that's going to be absolutely crazy. I'm going to build something up there on the hill that's going to be a real sight to look at. And I cannot wait to get started because it's going to be such a crazy shop. But that's for next episode. We've got some more things to do this episode, that's for sure. One of them being showing you this new project by Impulse and Tango. If you look at the way the water flows here, we've got some to go up, some to go down. And this is an underground mall. So as we head downwards, you can see that obviously we're underground. There is this pathway above a giant mall area where the hermits can come and open shops. In each of the hallways, there are like these design sections, and then there's like a box for you to move into and build your own storefront. So I think at some point we're going to come down here and sell something for fun. I got a really cool idea. It's not going to be a proper shop, but there is one shop over here already known as Ethical Iron. And you know me, I approve of that Ethical Iron. Of course, Tango built a poppy farm and there was some iron flowing off to the sides, and now we have access to this. So whenever I want to do big redstone projects, it is only 5 diamonds for a stack of blocks, which is super cool. Now, I was watching Tango's episode where he put together this shop, and he found something that I worked on during a live stream underground, and he totally didn't understand what it was for. So I thought I'd ask all of you what you think of this. So hostile mobs, they spawn in dark areas, and down at the bottom of the world, underneath the shopping area, I have added a place for them to spawn. No, Mr. Creeper, I do not want you to blow up. So behind the spruce wood, there are these long rooms that are completely unlit, and Tango actually stumbled into them, and he just did not understand what they were for, and he lit them back up. Now, I'm going to remove the torches in here and explain exactly why. I don't think there is any negative side effects of having this. Basically, the idea is, on the surface of the shopping area at night time, there are places where creepers and other mobs can spawn. So if we have some dark rooms all the way down at the bottom of the world, it means that they can also spawn down here, and then they're not going to be spawning up on the surface, right? This also happens to be at diamond level as well, so when I work on this, I can get some resources and hopefully some diamonds. You know, Tango's rocket shop is just such a brilliant business because rockets are so unbelievably convenient. I just fly everywhere now and absolutely tear through my rockets. Over there in the distance we can see the tower. We can clearly see I've built it up just on one side, and at the top there the cactus farm is sticking over the top. Now I'm not sure if I should build an entire new section or just have a little like custom section on the top there. I'm really not sure. I think this thing should be taller overall, so maybe what we'll actually do is put another section on top, then have a little design for the roof. And then if there's room for more cactus farms, I don't see why we wouldn't do that, because I need tons and tons of cactus for a future project. And this thing, to be fair, is kind of slow. Then again, I haven't been in this area too much, although I have today when I've been building. And down the bottom here, we've almost filled everything up to these last chests at the end, as you can see. So the stuff is rolling in. And there is a slime down here. This will also be the future site of a slime farm and probably other AFK farms as well. Try and put as many of those in one place together. But my friends, that is going to be it from me. This episode of Hermitcraft. I do hope you have enjoyed it. And get excited for the next episode, because we're going to do something crazy. So anyway, if you've enjoyed it, leave a like. As always, thanks for your support. And I'll see you soon with another one. Bye-bye.